about a minute early so that I can load my slides here. And there we go. Welcome so much to Creating a Mind with Heart and the new Mind with Heart Virtual Learning Center. We've had over 100 people signed up for this webinar. Some of you are here live, and the rest will be watching this as a recording. So, before we get started, if you have access to the chat and you want to introduce yourself, then that would be great, and tell me where you're from. If you don't have access to chat, please don't stress about it. I just want you to focus on this presentation. And I'm going to switch the slide now back to me and invite you to take a moment to focus on your heart. Take a few deep breaths into about the count of 4. Out about the count of 6. And just pretend that you're breathing in and out from your heart. And while you're doing that, try to think of someone or something that you love or appreciate, or a time or a place when you were completely content. Now, scientific research has shown that when you hug someone for 20 seconds, it causes the brain to release oxytocin in your body, which is the love hormone, has all kinds of health benefits. And when you do this technique, which is the quick coherence technique by HeartMath, some of you might know it, then you are giving yourself a hug. So if you do this for 20 seconds every day or every hour, then just this one thing is going to make a tremendous difference in your life. Okay, so I'm going to get back to the slideshow here. And this is episode 1 of a 4-part series. And this episode is about why are we here? Why do we want to create a mind with heart? And you helped me answer that question by answering these poll results. I got lots of answers. Thank you so much for participating. And the number 1 reason is to experience spiritual awareness and feelings of connection. And that's great, because when we are spiritually aware and feel connected, then all of these other things below fall into place. Number 2 was success in job, business, and career, which makes sense because that is so essential to our security. Feeling younger, smarter, happier, and healthier, that helps us in our job, career, and our relationships. So after that, we have put an end to anger, hatred, and blame in our relationships. And that is especially important now with what's going on in politics. So when you use Create a Mind with Heart, then you can watch the news and be able to deal with the feelings about that. After that, we had raising kids that feel confident, happy, and secure. We have a few parents here. And of course, overcoming doubt and confusion and overwhelm when we are faced with decisions. Because when that happens, okay, sorry, I thought I saw something. And that is important in our when we're facing health issues and in business. So the way that we tend to address these issues is we will read books, we'll go to YouTube, attend webinars, hire healers or life coaches, go to workshops. And okay, I see that people are leaving. Oh, no, you're just introducing yourself. I am so sorry. I didn't understand how the way this message was working. So thank you. Welcome, Anna and Robin and Joe and Prisma, and there are other people who are below where I can see now. This is my first time doing a live webinar at Expertise TV, so bear with me, please. So as I said, we will go to these sources to try to deal with these issues. And those are all valuable. We also will use practices like mindfulness, meditation. We might do tapping, yoga, we have healing techniques, we might be vegan, we have heart math. Some of us, I know you've had questions about heart math, neuroscience and brain entrainment. These are all valuable. I've used all of these in my own life, but these are all pieces of the puzzle. And the books and all of these other resources that we use, it's, there are so many out there. How do you know what to choose? For example, just in nutrition, everything from paleo to vegan. Well, that's why I believe I was given the final piece of the puzzle, something that pulls together all of these, integrates them, and completes the process. And I call it Creating a Mind with Heart with the Heart Compass Life Navigation System. And it's a 3-step system. If you've been in any of my courses, I've called it 5 steps or 7 steps. It depends on how you break it down. But it takes all those elements, the mindfulness, the heart intelligence, your heart, mind, body connection, and it brings it all together. And I've had questions, for example, how do you access the heart intelligence? When I go there, I feel anxiety. Well, if you practice the mindful awareness using the life navigation system in a very specific way, then it changes what's happening in your brain so that you're able to connect to the heart. And then once you get the heart intelligence, you don't want to just stop there, okay? You want to integrate that with your body, mind, soul, spirit. It's a feedback loop. And then that feedback loop will create the results that we were looking for in that poll. And it can all be done in about 5 minutes or less after you've had some practice. I use my life navigation system every morning. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 10 or 15. It depends what's going on, but that's not a lot of time to have these kind of results. It just takes some time to learn and practice it ahead of time. So when you use it, it will correct your perception, it will repair your relationships, heal you, mind, body, and soul, create financial abundance that's appropriate for your lifestyle or your heart's desires, and of course, the number one desire, spiritual awareness and connection. So who am I to be teaching all of this? Well, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, after World War II, and my parents are Holocaust survivors. And I wish I had a picture here of my dad instead of this book cover, because my dad was an amazing person. Both of my parents are amazing people after what they went through, and he was an incredible inspiration in my life. One of the things my dad used to say, his philosophy of life was, be happy, enjoy life, and never forget. And so that was a challenge to me. How can you be happy and joyful in your life if you never forget the horrible things that happened in something like a Holocaust? And so that has been an inspiration in my life and has led me to this point now. Another thing that I heard him say, and this was in a recording, he was recorded for a Holocaust memorial, and he told a story about how he had been hiding in the woods with his dad and brother, and he had to go into town to get some food. And while he was there, he ran into a friend, someone who used to be a friend, a young man who had become a soldier. And this soldier, he could have turned in my dad, or he could have killed him on the spot. But what my father did was he went right up to him, looked him straight in the eye, and he said, remember who you are. And if any of you have been to metaphysicsforlife.com, you know that those words are the words that inspired me and are the theme for the work that I do. Also, my grandmother used to say, there's nothing so bad that something good can't come of it. And with the life navigation system, you can take whatever is the worst thing that's happening and you can make something good come of it. So in my case, by the time I was 40 years old and I was going through a traumatic divorce, so I went to see a counselor and I was diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. But I prefer to call it inaccurate perception disorder because it's not just people who go through a traumatic experience. Any kind of highly charged negative emotional experience will create neural pathways in the brain so that when we encounter similar circumstances in the future, we will have an inappropriate response. But it's not just passed down even by personal experience or stories like I heard about the Holocaust. The science of epigenetics is now showing us that what happened in your parents' life, in your grandparents, in your great-grandparents, your great-great-parents, it affects the genes. And then when those genes are triggered by circumstances in our environment, then we can have inappropriate reactions to in our relationships, in our jobs, and that causes chronic stress. And we know that stress is the leading cause of health issues. So relieving stress, that's one thing, but what really happens is that when we connect to the heart, those of you who are familiar with heart math know that the heart sends out an electromagnetic field of energy and information to every cell in your body. And those cells need that energy, they need that information to do their jobs properly. So if there's stress, it disrupts that signal, just like if your cell phone is not, if it's only getting 2 bars, it's not going to work properly. Your body is the same way. All of these things, of course, led to financial struggles and crises in my life, and I was living in a spiritual desert, because if you're not connected to your heart, then you are not going to be connected to Source. That's just the way it is. So that's who I am, who I was, and now, after using live navigation for a while, I'm going to be transparent here. I live in a tiny house. It's actually a 1955 travel trailer that I remodeled, and I had a friend put a real roof on it. And the furniture has changed, but other than that, there's trilliums out there blooming even right now, and there's a creek right outside. I don't know if you can hear it, probably not. And I live with bears. Yes, this is right outside my door, and wild turkeys, birds that like to swim in the creek, and my beloved wolf dog, Guinevere. And of course, I have a huge organic garden, and I love to eat lots of fresh, organically grown food. So far in my own life, I have overcome health, relationship, and financial issues. I achieved extraordinary spiritual awareness and connection to Source, which gave me the information that I use to write my website, metaphysicsforlife.com. You might have come from there. I also have a degree in environmental education from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. That helps me teach. I have 12 years experience as a TV producer. I love to produce this stuff. And I've spent 15 years teaching metaphysics and heart compass life navigation. I have been a wife. I am a mom. I was a homeowner for 20 years. Not now. I don't own this land. It's on a friend's property. No mortgage. Yay. I'm a solo entrepreneur and a writer and publisher of my own work. I love nature, animals, people, music, food, learning, and of course, God. And after helping myself, I went on for 15 years. I have been helping overwhelmed moms get control of their lives and earn the respect of their children. I have helped people in careers get the long-awaited promotion or raise that they've been waiting for. I've worked with lots of highly educated people, more educated than me, master's degrees, PhDs, social workers, scientists, psychiatrists, psychologists, all kinds of people in those walks of life, people who were seeking spiritual enlightenment, solo entrepreneurs like myself. It can be a very lonely, stressful existence, and life navigation comes in really handy in that situation. Or people who just have jobs and bosses who are piling it on. I have worked with women who have been in abusive relationships and then gained the inner strength to be able to move safely and securely out of those situations and take care of themselves. And I don't have a picture here, but I've worked with musicians and artists, and they have gone on to experience tremendous success in their lives. Artists who were invisible and now have their work in galleries. And I've been doing this now for 15 years. So if you are interested in creating a Mind with Heart and learning the Heart Compass Life Navigation System, I will be teaching it in 2 days on Friday. And if you're unable to attend live, that's okay. It will be recorded. You'll have access to it later. That will be the second episode. And then after that, that'll give you the weekend to use the life navigation system and get used to it. And then in episode 3, which is going to be next Wednesday at this time, there will be a lot more interaction going on. It's going to be more like a workshop. I'm going to show you how to use the life navigation system specifically in areas and issues of your life. For example, I've had people asking, how do you use life navigation to deal with physical health issues, chronic ones? And if you have been with me for a while, you might know that this year I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis, and I've had it for about 25 years, and yet here I am. I'm not in a wheelchair, I'm not disabled. Now, some would just say, well, MS affects everybody differently. Well, that means, yeah, it might affect your eyes or your nerves or your ability to walk or think. But in my case, I just believe that accessing the heart and creating heart coherence and this life navigation system is what allowed my heart to send my cells the information they needed. And that's why I'm in this situation I am now. But there is a disclaimer at the bottom of this slide. These results are totally anecdotal, and consult your physician. And then finally, in the last episode, which will probably just be recorded, you won't have to attend it, I will give a guided tour of the Mind with Heart Virtual Learning Center so that you can find your way around easily and access all of the wonderful resources that are going to be available to you here. It's early, we just got started. There's not much here now, but over the weeks and months and years to come, there will be a great deal that will be here. All right, so I'm going to come out from behind the slide here now, and I'm going to look at some of the questions that you've been asking, because there were some great questions here. All right, I already talked about, Lisa asked, how does one use the heart to heal the body from chronic diseases? And I shared a little bit about that today, but I'm going to go into it a lot more in episodes 2 and 3. So you really want to be there, especially live, if you want to interact with me. My opinion and relation with HeartMath, oh my gosh. Well, I didn't discover HeartMath until after I'd been using the life navigation system for a while. And what I found was that HeartMath gave me the science that my left brain needs to accept what is happening when I use the life navigation system. I got amazing results right off the bat. And of course, my left brain immediately goes like, what is this? How does this work? And then I found HeartMath, which explained, through scientific research, what's going on. My relation with HeartMath is that I use their research to help support what I teach. Let's see. Nell asked, what can you do when you're using HeartMath, but you feel more anxious when you use it? Well, that's a great question, because that's exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what I mean, that the life navigation system completes other systems. When you go through the first step or phase of the life navigation system, it prepares your brain so that it's not sending the wrong signals. The amygdala is deactivated, relaxed, so that when you access the heart, you don't feel that anxiety. And of course, then you complete the system, you complete it by integrating everything so that you don't feel anxious afterwards either. There's a lot more to that. I'll go into that more in parts 2 and 3. Let's see, we said, how does it delete anxiety? Again, you're going to be creating heart coherence. I'll talk more about that in episode 2. That's a big subject. Let's see. We talked about healing and the electromagnetic field. And when you accomplish this, it sends the right information to your cells. Okay, and finally, Lenora said, what are confirmations that, how do you know when your heart is speaking instead of your mind? Well, if you watched the episode on Gaia TV that I shared with many of you, and Greg Braden was talking about accessing the heart and getting messages straight from the heart. The heart communicates with images and feelings, and your brain will take those images and feelings and create words about them. when the heart sends information to the brain, it will be, there won't be a big explanation about it. So you'll get something really to the point. And I can't think of an example right now. Maybe I will in a moment. Then once you get that answer, that's to the point answer, your brain might kick in and start, giving explanations about it. Just like when I started using life navigation and it was working. And of course, my left brain immediately said, well, how is this working? So the way to know is pretty much how it feels. When you use the LifeNav system, there's a technique that I teach you, a very specific one, that allows you to test whether it's coming from the heart or the head. And you can, when you use that, and you'll learn that in episode 2, and you use it and you can test it, and then you'll be more confident. Also, if you get something from the head and not the heart, and it's something you think you want, and you take action on it, eventually you're going to discover that. And then you just go back to square one and start again. All right, and Darren was starting to ask a question, but it stopped. Let's see, how are we doing here? No, we've only been going for about 20 minutes. I apologize if I spoke too quickly, but that's all right, we don't have a lot of time. Do I use stones like quartz? You know what? That is a great question. I don't recommend anything. If you use the Heart Compass Life Navigation System and it tells you, go buy a certain kind of quartz, or you're at a fair, okay, and you access your heart for intelligence, and you want to know, is this right for me? You will get the answers from your own heart. All right. The same thing with diet and nutrition. Remember, I was talking about, we read all these books, paleo, vegan, everything in between. How did I figure out what I need to eat? I use life navigation, and I get the answers from my own heart, and I know where to go on the spectrum, what's appropriate for my body. And I don't do it just once. I keep checking in, because as we go through different phases and experiences of our lives, we need different things. So I don't tell anybody to do anything. I don't tell them to meditate or use quartz or do yoga or tapping. You can integrate all of those things with life navigation, and I do with tapping, and it's amazing what it does to the level of results that you will obtain when you do that. Okay, and I know that some people are coming on late. Don't worry, this is going to be recorded. I want to go back to the previous slide just for a moment. Whoops, there it is, and I need to, okay, well, that didn't work. All right. I apologize for your patience. I'm still learning how to use this. Okay, so once again, this episode 1 will be recorded, and you will receive a link when it's ready. Expertise TV has to process it first, and then you'll get a link. I'm not sure yet how long that will take. And then episode 2, I can't remember the question. Anyway, that will also be live and be recorded, so you can show up for that. All right, let's get back to this. Are there any other questions here? So we've been going now for about almost 25 minutes. I thought maybe we would go for half hour 45, but if I was too fast, if you have any other questions. If not, I think I'll let you go. We can go about our day. Let's see. All right. And okay, I don't see anyone else coming up. Those were all great questions. I really look forward to seeing you on Friday. If you can't be there live, I will send you a link to the recording. That's a big episode. It's going to teach you the life navigation system, and if you but really try to make it live to the one, there we go, really try to make it live to the one on Wednesday, episode 3, because that is when I can click on your name and interact with you. I'll be able to talk to you, see you if you want me to, and we'll be able to work on a specific issue for you. That's going to be incredibly valuable right there. All right then. Thank you again so much for being here. Remember to do your heart coherence, quick heart coherence, for 20 seconds to get the health benefits of that. And I will see you in a couple of days. Thank you again for being here. Bye-bye.